Next Generation Weather Forecaster Joe Shock here from patreon.com/stormchaser.js. Well, today is the day that I have issued and went through very extensively my second winter update for 2020 and 2021 here for the Northeast. I don't cover the whole country because there's just so much that can go on, but you'll see the country in my analogs, but really the forecast is focused here in the northeastern part of the United States. I'm only one person. I can only do so many things. I know other people on YouTube and other places cover the whole country and even parts of the whole northern hemisphere. But for my purposes, I believe the Northeast is good enough. So let's see what we're looking at here in today's presentation. We are always looking at, when we do these seasonal outlooks, the Oceanic Nino Index, the ONI chart. This tells us if we're in an El Nino, if we're either neutral or within a La Nina. So this is really, really helpful. And again, this data goes back, as you can see, to 1950 here. So some pretty extensive data over almost pretty much, 70 years of data now, going all the way to 2020. So 70 years of climate data in this is really, really good. So we have a very good base. So what I did here is I took all the first year La Ninas and I took all the active hurricane seasons and used them both, and you'll see that here. Now, the SSTs look like this. You can see the classic La Nina signature here. Again, first year La Nina showing up. The warmth in the Gulf of Alaska. The warmth off the East Coast. So this is a very, very good sea surface temperature anomaly pattern for what is coming here. And you can see the European, summarized. I can't put it on because of privacy issues, but the year is seasonal, has the La Nina continuing well into the spring, a warmer than normal Atlantic and along the East Coast, the European with a very warm eastern U.S. and somewhat cool in the northern central and up into southern Canada. The Canadian SIPS is very similar, and the MJO appears to be hanging out in the warm phases 3 and 7. So you can see what, the Northeast is a little bit cool, but still phase 3 is quite warm because that warmth will come east. You can see phase 3 is really a transition phase for the Northeast, but it could still be, it's not brutally cold like phases 8, 1, and 2 are. But once you get into phase 4 through 7, you can see the warmth really holding in over the Northeast and eastern part of the United States, especially phase 7, which you can see right there, which actually looks very similar to the analogs that I have pulled up. So maybe we're going to get stalled in 7 or stalled in 5. I mean, any of these phases, 3 through 7, is fair game for warmth here in the Northeast. So you can see what that looks like there. Now, this is from the Japanese Climate Center, and you can see here, this is for the winter, December through February. You can see the large-scale ridging that is taking place here off the Northeast coast and over the Southeast. You can see the lower heights up in northwest Canada, providing the cold up into the northern central part of the United States. The ridge here south and southwest of Alaska. The classic La Nina showing the lower heights here. So that looks pretty good. And then the temperature forecast, you can see quite warm. 1 degree Celsius here over the Northeast. And you can see the hint of cool showing up over the north and central part of the United States. The sea surface pressure at the surface, you can see where there's lower pressure up here in Canada, higher pressure here off the southeast coast. So clockwise winds come around this big ridge of high pressure. Warm air comes north to the lower pressure. So that looks very good. And then you can see the SSTs being forecasted here, observed and forecasted, quite warmer than normal off the northeast coast. And then again, there's the La Nina showing up quite nicely. So here is a first year La Nina. Again, here are all the years that I used up in the top. And then this is just perfect. I mean, you can see where the hint of cool is showing up. Obviously, the Northeast is roughly a degree or 2 above normal Fahrenheit. So that's a first year La Nina. And then all the active Atlantic hurricane seasons, which is 13 or more named storms in a season. I took it above average. Anything above average, I think is going to fit the bill here. But you can see the same kind of very strong relationship. Cool in the northern tier, warm in the Northeast, and then again with the active hurricane season, warm in the Northeast and a hint of cool hanging back in through here. So very, very interesting situation. And I think it's a very, very strong relationship between a first-year La Nina and active hurricane seasons here in this part of the world. But overall, the consequence, I believe, and likely is going to be a warm winter in the Northeast. So with all that looked at, here is my forecast that I didn't really have to change too much since August, which is pretty remarkable that in August we were able to see these signals coming out with this. And you can see that I am forecasting a warmer than normal winter with temperatures 2 to 4 degrees above normal for the 3-month period from December through February. So definitely going to be interesting to see how this works out as we go along down the road. That's it for now, and thank you for watching.